It's Mr. McFarland. Today we're going to make a small data table comparing the costs of a few items in Seattle versus the city that we're traveling to. There aren't that many new skills involved in this one. You guys have made a data table before, but let's run through it. I've got my work that I previously did open, my flights data table, my flights graph, and I want to make a new sheet within this file that lets me kind of group things together. You'll see down at the bottom here I only have one sheet and it's called Sheet 1. I want to double click on that name and rename it to Flights. Then I'm going to click this little plus sign so I have a brand new sheet. I can switch between them down here. And I'm going to call this second one Costs. Alright, I want to make a data table like this. You'll notice first there's a big title that goes across 3 columns here. So I'm going to start by selecting the first cell in the first 3 columns, so A1, B1, and C1, and clicking this button here that says Merge and Center. Then I'll click on that box and I'll type Cost Comparison, and I'll highlight it and I'll make it bold too. Then I'll go down 1 row and I'll type Item. In the next box over, I'll type Seattle, Washington. Doesn't quite fit in that box, so I'm going to click up here between B and C and drag over so I have more room. I'm also really going to need a lot more room in column A here, so I'll click between A and B and drag and give myself a good amount of room there. In our third and final column, I'm going to type the city that I'm going to. That would be Tokyo, Japan. Check yourself. Are you only taking up 3 columns? Is the city that you're going to in column C? If it is, good. I also have these lines that kind of separate these titles from the rest of it. I'd like to add those. So I'm going to click and drag to highlight these 3 column titles. And then I'm going to go up to where it has this box here, click on the arrow next to it, and I want top and bottom border, like that. Okay, I'm ready to start entering information. I can find this information at this website here. So I'll click on the link. First question it asks me is, where do you live now? I'm going to put in Seattle. We don't exactly live in Seattle, but we're pretty close. Where are you comparing? Let's type the city that we're going to. I type Tokyo, Japan, and then I'm going to click Compare. And it wants me to register. I'm going to click the X. Okay, so now it compares a lot of things in the 2 cities, and you can see the prices in Seattle, the prices in Tokyo, and the difference between the 2. So, for example, a meal in an inexpensive restaurant in Seattle is about $15. In Tokyo, it's about $8.85 on average. So it's quite a bit less expensive in Tokyo. I'm going to pick a kind of average meal at McDonald's here as the first one I want to compare. So I'll put that in the item box. The price for Seattle is about $9. And the price in Tokyo is about $6.20. Next, you'll choose 4 more items you'd like to compare and put their prices and their prices in Japan here. You can choose what you'd like from this list. I chose a loaf of bread, a gallon of gasoline, rent per month, and the average monthly salary. The average monthly salary I would highly recommend. This is very interesting because it tells you how much money you can make there. In my example here, salaries in Seattle are higher than they are in Japan, even though some things are quite a bit less expensive. Okay, I filled in my other 4 items on Excel here, and in OneNote there is a box here for you to paste the link to your Comparing Costs Excel workbook. Okay, we'll go to Share in Excel. We don't want people to edit it, even Mr. McFarland. So I'll click on this, uncheck Allow Editing, press Apply. I'll click Copy Link. I can press Copy again just to make sure, and then Control V to paste it into my OneNote.